Hello, everyone, and happy Easter. Welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm your host, Tomas Garza. And well, this is fun today. It's fun. It's Sunday, it's Easter Sunday. So however you celebrate Easter or not, I hope that you're having a beautiful weekend. And this is really a lot of fun today because what we're talking about can be summed up really briefly here in the workbook for students. So I'll sum it up briefly that we don't have to suffer the way we do. Okay, and that's the end of the live stream. Kidding, kidding. All right, so as people join, thank you all for tuning in today, and I hope that you're having a great weekend. Wherever you're tuning in from, we're on lesson 56 of the workbook for students. And my message and the message of the Holy Spirit today is you don't have to suffer the way that you do. You don't have to. Neither do I. This is really literally the truth. We don't have to do this the way that we are. So, as you know from watching the last few days, we're in the middle of a process of what the workbook calls review lessons. So we're going through lessons 26 through 30 here today. And rather than read the descriptions of them verbatim like I did yesterday, I felt called to do that yesterday because they were just so poignant and they spoke to thoughts of disease and disaster, right? The end of the world as we know it, all kinds of stuff like that. So today, what I'll do is I will summarize and I will paraphrase these for you. So it may be a bit of a shorter live stream. And if you're catching the replay, definitely let me know that you're catching this on the replay because I love to take comments and questions live while the stream is going on. And also on the replay, what you do is you just type a comment or a question into the comment thread here on Facebook. And I will get back to them because I check them from time to time throughout the day. So here we are. Workbook for Students, lesson 56. So here are what they're calling review lessons. They're ideas about universal spirituality. All right, so the first one, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. There's a couple components to this. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. Invulnerability, yeah. Invulnerability. We are, in fact, life itself. You are the answer you're looking for. And ultimately, at our essence, we are invulnerable and beyond all attack. Here in the world, we see ourselves as cut off. We see ourselves as separate. We see ourselves as subject to disease, pandemics, destruction, and decay. We see ourselves as subject to all kinds of situations that we would consider lethal, traumatic. This is what happens when we see ourselves as separate from all of our brothers and sisters, separate from God, separate, period. We see ourselves as cut off, isolated. Then we go about life defining and defending personal territory, which means attack. It means attack. We're always on edge, worried that we're going to be attacked. That, or you're lashing out with attack thoughts of your own. Now, I will submit, and the Course says this as well, that any thought that is a fear-based thought is, in fact, an attack thought. Now, even if you're sad, what's it attacking? Well, it's attacking the peace of God, which actually is beyond all attack. We just think we can cut ourselves off. Well, we can't. And if you're watching this, you know you can't. I know I can't. We cannot actually cut ourselves off. Why? Who we are has never left us. It has never, ever left us. We are the ones that have gone off on a mad adventure, lifetime after lifetime, roaming around, sowing destruction on ourselves, on the planet, on the universe at large, on each other, just one destructive separation thought after another in a downward spiral that doesn't appear to end. However, we can negate that right now. Just walk away from it. We don't have to make an opponent out of anything or anyone. How do we do this? We simply choose love. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. All right, next idea, which is lesson 27 in the workbook. Above all else, I want to see. We've seen this. So what we're saying in reciting this statement, and if you recite it with true conviction and meaning, like you mean it, what you're saying is you want to see things as they really are. You want to see your brothers and sisters, your fellow human beings, your fellow beings, period, and the world itself as it really is. You want to see everyone as they really and truly are. Powerful. Now, what we're doing in practicing this idea is we're elevating this desire above all else. This is critical, above all else. Yes, the things of the world are important: food and water and making money and having a roof over our heads, having a strong internet connection so we can connect with each other. It's all important, right? All of these things are important. What we're saying is our wish to see things as they really are, our wish to awaken, is more important than that. It is prioritizing your spiritual growth, your spirituality. It's prioritizing you, who you really are, not who you think you are, but who you really and truly are. Above all else, I want to see. Lesson 28 follows from lesson 27, does it not? Above all else, I want to see differently. In other words, I want to see the world forgiven. I want to see beauty and love, not death, decay, destruction, and people attacking people over all kinds of things. You don't have to go far in the world to see people lashing out. There are many examples of attack thoughts all over the place, in the news, on social media, everywhere. And we know this. We know this deep down. So why do we continue to choose it? Well, message for the day: we don't have to. We don't have to. Lesson 28, above all else, I want to see things differently. Lesson 29, all right. God is in everything I see. So here in the course, absolute truth is presented in simply two words. Now, of course, absolute truth is the very being that is and always has been. It's beyond all language. And that since we're using language and words to communicate with each other, absolute truth can be summed up in two words: God is, period. God is. This does mean, if you're following along with the logic here, nothing else is. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. It's another way of saying it in a little bit more words. Yeah, God is. God is in everything I see. Why? Only God is. Therefore, God is in everything that we see. And this is all absolute truth. It's beyond all of our attack thoughts. It's beyond all of our insane wishes to be somebody else. which is really, when you think about it, all we've been doing for countless millennia here in the world is running around wishing we were somebody else, trying to be a body instead of who we really are. Mhm. Trying to be whatever we name ourselves and call ourselves in a given lifetime instead of who we really are, trying to be human instead of who we really are, trying to be male, female instead of who we really are, trying to be a doctor, a teacher, a firefighter, for example, instead of who we really are, trying to be all kinds of things instead of who we really are. God is in everything that we see. Why? Only God is. Lesson 30 goes on to say, God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. What do we mean by this? Well, we're not our thinking mind either. We're not a body. We're not our thinking mind either. We're not this psychological mind that formulates one problem after another and categorizes life in terms of gradations and levels and gets really lost, mixed up, and 100% confused all the time. God is in everything we see because God is in our mind. In other words, what we're saying here is God is. Therefore, God is in everything we see. Our real thoughts, the Course tells us, are not our insane attack thoughts, because they are insane, are they not? It's the thoughts that we think with God that are real, as in one with, guys, one with God. Those thoughts are real. We've never lost them. This is very important in A Course in Miracles, and it's a beautiful message every day, not just on Easter Sunday, but every single day, is that we have never lost who we really are. We have chosen, for whatever reason, I don't know why we've chosen it, but here we are. We have chosen to wander off and see things the way they are not. And we've stubbornly clung to all of these self concepts. This is the ego that we're talking about. We've stubbornly clung to all of this since beginningless time. And well, time, linear time, doesn't really even exist either. It is just a device for us to wake up. So that is the proper use of time, is to awaken. Now, there are many different practices in this world that you could enjoy and undertake in order to facilitate and bring about this awakening so that you arrive as close to our true state of being as possible until you finally become that state of being. You surrender the ego completely. Now, the Course describes that as getting as close as you possibly can to awakening, and then God himself takes the final step. When we let go of the ego, then we simply are. That is God himself taking the final step. So this is going to happen for all of us because it is what has always been. We're all having the experience, looks differently for all of us, right, of waking up to this. So this is lesson 56, a review of lessons 26 through 30 in the workbook. Now let's see who's tuning in here today. And we've got a few of you online here with me this morning. Deirdre, hello, how are you? And Robert and Abba, hello. Hi guys, how are you? Thank you for joining me. Yes, and happy Easter. Yeah, happy Easter to everybody. So a couple of Easter time stories. Even though I was raised in a fundamentalist Christian tradition in the United States, like a lot of people that are probably watching this from the US, Canada, Europe, Australia, right? Christian, Judeo-Christian tradition countries, we Easter was about, well, it was about a couple of things. We would talk about the biblical lessons and the crucifixion and the resurrection and all of that. And by the way, we're not going to get into this today, but A Course in Miracles has a completely, if you haven't read it, Look it up. Yeah, a completely different take on all of that, which is really beautiful and not what I learned growing up. But to me, Easter was about a couple of things. One, candy, all right, and two, family time. And this was an occasion that we took to see each other and to spend time with people. So I would go and spend time with my grandparents. I remember very, very well the house. It was actually a property. In fact, it was a large property that they lived on in the 1970s when I was growing up. It's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's a property called Los Poblanos. And we would go and spend Easter there and have a giant Easter egg hunt, which was fun. But it was one of the occasions that I got to see all of my cousins and my aunts and uncles spend time with my grandparents. And this was fun. So that's what it was about for me. And yeah, and so yeah, Allah, yes, Egyptian Muslim living in England. Okay, yeah, wonderful. Well, welcome. I'm so happy that you've joined us here on the network, and I'm happy that you're enjoying these live streams. There's so much. Honestly, guys, this network is wonderful. You know, there are many different shows. There are now 3 different channels. There's EWN, Enlightened Living, and then there's One with the Earth, in addition to this channel on Enlightened World Network. So there's so much to offer. And this is what we're all about, is reaching as many people as possible. So yes, Abla, thank you so much for tuning in and joining. And Robert, you're in Romania. So people from Europe, Deirdre is from New York. So we've had people from literally all over. We've had people from Pakistan joining, Australia, New Zealand, and the US and Canada, South America. So really it's a global community. And what we discover is, and the internet is beautiful for helping us with this discovery, isn't it? What we discover is that all of this is shared. We're really literally having a shared experience. And it's moments like this where we can communicate and commune and be and spend time together that really bring this home. So I'm very, very grateful for all of you. I'm very grateful for Enlightened World Network, and I'm very grateful for the technology that we enjoy to help us communicate. Now, the internet can be used to disseminate hatred and fear, of course. We all know that, but it can also be used to spread and extend love. So let's do the latter and spread and extend love. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And this is, again, a daily live stream. So I will be back here tomorrow. Check the show guide on Enlightened World Network for all of the day's programming. This show is not at a designated time. It does bounce around a little bit. So you'll want to take a look at that. And thank you all. Again, happy Easter and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks for joining me.